Good evening. So, uh, you have a research question, you made a hypothesis, you made a methodology, you designed your study, did all the statistical planning, wrote it up as a proposal. Then what to do? Whatever, however good your study is, it should be accepted by an authorized body, so by the department and the institution. So first, it has to go to the department. Your guide should agree to that. Your department has to agree to that. Your HOD has to agree to that. Then the university, the institution has to agree. The institution has two committees which will look into your study, your proposal. The technical committee or IRC, which will look into the technical aspect of the study. Like, is the methodology right? Sample size calculation correct? Is it feasible? Is it finer? Is it smart? All those things. So you may have to correct one or two times, and usually two experts will go through that. And once they agree to that, Secretary of IRC, now Dr. Ethini, will give you a go ahead. Then you will have to submit to the ethics committee. Ethics committee, unlike other committees, is a statutory body. Any research on human being anywhere in the world has to be approved by an ethics committee of the institution. It is all over the world. It's actually mandated by a rule of law also. So you cannot get away without an ethics committee approval. So for that, you will be submitting 5 copies and a soft copy to the ethics committee, and there's a fee for that. So you will be paying that money in principal's office and giving a copy in principal's office and 5 copies to the ethics committee. And the soft copy you will be mailing to the ethics committee. So what does ethics committee do? Ethics committee will look into the proposal and make sure that you are not doing anything unethical. That means your study subjects are not going to undergo any risk which is more than minimal risk. Minimal risk is defined as the risk of doing something in a normal life. So cannot subject anybody to a higher risk than something which he is expected to face in normal life. So the issue is something Dr. Ashokan mentioned yesterday. When you are a doctor, you can make decisions up to a limit, presuming that you know everything. But when you are a researcher, you presume that you don't know what you are doing. So it will be doubly careful. You cannot take decisions for the considering that you are doing something good without patient's permission and knowledge. And the Indian guidelines, ICMR guidelines, clearly says you cannot do any research for betterment of others if it is going to make any discomfort to the study subject. And these are 4 pillars of ethics. Beneficial. That means whatever study you do, when you start doing, think this is going to be of any use. Should be of benefit. And it should not affect the autonomy of the study subject. you are doing a study, patient is coming to your OPD, you are not asking the patient's permission, and you are giving a medicine, or you are doing a, you are applying a questionnaire, you are without permission. No, you cannot do that. Patient has autonomy. Patient can decide whether to answer your question, to give blood, or permit you to use the blood for some other test, etc. And non-maleficence. You should not do anything malefic against the patient. Not do any harm. Do no harm. That's the basis of medical practice. And distributive justice. That means every person coming to you, or every person who is part of the study, should get equal justice. You should cannot give a medicine to another one person and not to give another person without any basis. So it should be distributed equally among the subjects. The chance of getting into a study, chance of getting a questionnaire, chance of getting a treatment should be distributed equally among the persons. You may not be giving to one person, but the distribution should be just justified. So ethics committee is supposed to oversee and regulate whatever you do in the name of system. So how do we do this? Any proposal or any research of biomedical, social or behavioral science should go through ethical review. You can say that I am not going to touch a person. No. Any social behavioral study or biomedical study should go through ethical review. And it should be done by an appropriately constituted ethics committee. The law clearly says who should be the members, who all should be the members of it. And what will they do? They will safeguard the dignity, rights and safety and well-being of such persons. Ethics committee should have at least 7 or 8 members, maximum of 15 members. Our ethics committee chairperson is vice principal of Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences, Dr. Girija, and secretary. Secretary will be from the institution, and it will have basic experts from basic medical sciences. We will have clinicians. We will have one advocate. We have an advocate, or can be a judge, and a social scientist. We have a priest who is also a social scientist. We have a philosopher, ethicist, a theologian. We have a theologian. One layperson. Layperson is someone who has not practiced medicine in the last 5 years. You should be having basic education, but should not be a practicing doctor, because he represents the community, and the member secretary will be from the institution, and they will be discussing your proposal. They will get the proposal actually a few days before, so that they can read and prepare and come for the meeting. So please don't come on the previous day with your proposal. You will not be taking it up, because this is to be circulated among the members, 15 members, and they need time to read it. All these people have some other occupation, so they may not be waiting for your proposal to come. So they need at least few days to prepare. Actually, by standard operating procedure should be sent 7 days before the meeting, and they should get time to read it, and they read and come and discuss before, and the committee will make a decision. So we should get adequate time for this. And committee will have a competent review and take review free of bias and influence. This means if there's any conflict of interest, that member will not take part in the discussion. And if we have any doubt about a subject, we will get subject experts opinion about that. And also, the committee can monitor the results. You can ask for interim reports. You can visit your premises and also ask the records. Usually, we review it and give a permission. You can ask for an interim review, and once you finish your proposal, you should submit a final report to the ethics committee. And from this year, principal has clearly said, without a final report to ethics committee and a report from ethics committee, your thesis will not go to university. Okay, so for university principal to forward the final thesis, the interim report should reach ethics committee. And we are supposed to give a summary of the report to the principal, and also the ethics committees will be inspected by DHS or some other agencies. So we also should have all these things in the ethics committees registration by Department of Health Sciences will be invalid. They give registration only for 2 years. And once we get the proposal, usually they will go for a full committee review. All the proposals has to be seen by all the 15 people, and the decisions will be taken by the committee. And whatever the risk level, you can say that there's no risk in my study, so it need not go to the committee. No, not like that. There are some situations that this committee will decide to exempt the study from review, like you are taking doing some study on newspaper reports or some survey already done. You don't know who the patient is. It's not linked. So unlinked data. Such situations, if this committee can decide that there's no risk involved, so it need not go into the cumbersome procedure, can be exempted from review. But this exemption will be discussed in the full committee. There are some situations where you can give an expedited review. For example, a COVID pandemic is happening. There's some intervention. We need to do it in a few days' time. We may not have enough time to go for a full review. So in that situations, 2 or 3 members of subcommittee will see. Or sometimes you will see that the subcommittee will decide that there is no risk in this. Or we are doing a study on some sample whose identity is not revealed, so something like that. So the risk is very minimum. Sometimes this committee can give an expedited review, and even if you think the risk is minimum, you can ask for an expedited review. But it is the ethics committee to decide whether to give an expedited review. And later, this expedited reviews will be submitted to full committee. Okay, so secretary screens all your reviews. So you may get, if there's a severe problem in your study, usually that doesn't happen because all this comes through IRC. But if there's something, you will get a mail or you will get a call saying there's a severe issue in this, probably we may not consider it. So after the screening, the secretary categorizes it for expedited review, exempted review, full committee review, etc. And with the consent of chairman, or after discussing with the chairman, this will be allotted to various members. They will do a pre-meeting peer review, and later full committee. Usually you will be invited for the meeting, but during the COVID period, we are trying to fast track and avoid such things. But if the protocol has some problem, definitely you will be called. You will be asked to review, to present the case and discuss it and defend your proposal. Should all proposal go through the review? Yes. Any proposal which involves human beings, their samples, their data, cell lines should go through ethics review. So, and another question sometimes we used to ask is, anyway, this committee, research committee has, IRC has cleared my methodology. Then should we, so can ethics committee again look into methodology? Yes, ethics committee can look into the methodology, because a wrong methodology is an unethical methodology, an unethical study. So can go into uh, methodology again. Even we have many times asked to change the sample size, the titles, the methodology, etc. So, is it a must that you should have an ethics clearance before starting study? Yes, absolutely. Only with the ethics committee clearance you can submit it to the university. Only with the university clearance you can start the study. Doing any study without ethics committee clearance is illegal now. Is clinical trials banned for PG? Theoretically, no, but practically, yes. Because the restrictions or the things you should do to get an approval for a clinical trial is not simple. There are a lot of things you have to do. So that may not be practical for you to do in a clinical trial. So as far as possible, better not attempt a clinical trial, especially a RCT, randomized clinical trial, because it will not be practical. Maximum you are going to get is 18 months to do your thesis. So somebody asked, when should you submit your protocol to IRC and AEC? The IMC MCI guidelines, you can go to your curriculum and or MCI PG regulation clearly says by 6 months you should submit your proposal or synopsis to the university. That means by 6 months of admission, you are admitted in July 1st. By end of December, you should be submitting your proposal with ethics committee clearance to the university. Ethics committee takes at least 2 to 3 weeks minimum. Research committee, IRC also takes few weeks. So you should be submitting at least 2 months before that. So that will be something like 4 months from your joining date. So July, August, September, October. Maybe by October, definitely by October, you should be submitting your proposals. Then only we will be able to get it cleared and submit in the university by the time university issue their notification. Don't wait the university notification. There was an argument once saying university didn't give any notification, but it's given in the MCI regulations, which is quoted in your prospectus. So you doesn't need another university notification. University notification is to collect money with your proposal. So they will spend. So don't wait for that. Start doing it now. Okay. Dr. Sudhiraj mentioned about this participant information sheet. This is very important, and make sure that you do it, because this is something every ethics committee member will look into. So this is a document which states every information the patient should know before participating in the study. Ideally, you are supposed to give this information sheet with the patient and ask the patient to read, maybe take 2 3 days, come back, ask all the questions, and get everything clarified, then sign the consent form. That's the ideal procedure. And RCT is actually the signature signing of the consent, and the process of explaining the information sheet to be audio visually recorded too. But we are not doing RCT, so that step can be bypassed. What should a consent form contain? It should mention the purpose of the study, why you are doing this study. First thing, you should mention that what you are doing is a study. Then you should say the purpose of the study and what procedure is supposed to this patient or the participant supposed to undergo. It's not that the details of surgery, if you are doing a surgery, you will do, you cut the skin, you cut the muscle. No, not that. In simple words, what you are planning to do. What's the risk or discomfort you should expect? Benefits of the study, and that you will keep the confidentiality. And if there's any payment involved, you should mention that no patient should be paying for your study. So if you are doing an extra investigation than what is being done usually, either you should pay or you should get some funding. Patient should not pay for that. And you should also mention that the patient or the participant has a right to refuse or withdraw from the study, but refusing or withdrawing from the study will not affect the treatment. Try to ask questions, and actually you should give your number or contact number or the main investigator's number, because you are giving some medicine or you are doing something and after some time they have some doubt. So you should be able to clarify. And patient signs a consent form in a language which patient understands. If there is a Oriya patient, consent form should be Oriya, or you should document and make sure that patient understood what actually he is supposed to understand. And you should write patient's name, your signature, patient's signature. Ideally, better you also sign under that. And if you think there is something serious, or if there's an issue that patient is illiterate or something like that, then have a witness too. Who can give consent? Of course, always participant. But sometimes that will not be enough. For example, you are doing a study in an Anganwadi in a village. You are going there every day. Definitely people will ask, why are you coming? So it's better to have a community consent from the panchayat or the community leader. Legally accepted relative is another person who can give consent depending on the situation. Sometimes a child, father will be giving a consent or mother will be giving a consent. A guardian can give a consent, but guardian should be legally accepted. Sometimes custodian of data will be giving consent. For example, you are doing some study on collecting the records from medical records. The custodian is superintendent, medical superintendent. Or you are getting archived sample from pathology department. The pathology professor will be the custodian. You should get consent. A child between the age of 14 and 17 can give assent or should give assent. Not only a consent from the LAR. So you need two signatures, one from the child and one from the LAR. And it, I also already mentioned, should be in local language. Local means it's not Malayalam always. If there is a migrant or somebody from outside who doesn't know Malayalam, their own language, whatever language they understand. And there is no alternative for that in most of the time. That's another usual confusion our PGs undergo. You are taking a consent for surgery and you are doing a study on the outcome of surgery. The consent will be on surgery. So that's a different thing. You are doing a surgery and you will have a consent for surgery, surgical procedure. That is the consent for surgical procedure. You could have another consent for using the data for your study. So the consent for surgical procedure will be taken by surgeon and your consent will be taken by you. So these are two different things. Make sure that don't keep surgery consent in the protocol. How long should we keep the 5 years? Minimum 5 years you should keep the, because you are telling the patient that you are doing a research. After 2-3 years, patient may ask the details or some right to information can ask questions, especially in a government. So keep the data, keep the details at least for 5 years. Can you compensate the participation? If patient is spending money for your study, you should compensate it. Ideally, if the patient is using 1 day's job or traveling, you can compensate. But you cannot give inducement. If you take part in my study, I will give you 10,000 rupees. That's not allowed in India. Some Western countries that also is allowed, but not in India. Audiovisual consent already I said that's not applicable for you. Sometimes you'll be using archived data. You're collecting all data. So, and you will come with a consent form. You cannot collect a consent from a patient who is not coming to you. You already have the data from the case sheets. So no need of consent. But you should get consent from the custodian or owner, from pathology department, biochemistry department, or medical records department, the superintendent, for using the available data. Ideally, as per the guidelines, you should collect, not you, the institution should collect the consent of the individual for archiving the data. But in Indian scenario, that's not happened. Can IAC ask for interim report? Yes. Any study which spans more than 1 year, the interim report is compulsory from this year, because it's included in the national guideline and the act. So you can give only for 1 year. You can give permission only for 1 year. Once you give the interim report, we will discuss it and you will give a extension of the proposal. It should be, usually it should not have a problem getting it, but you should give an interim report at the end of 1 year. Your study is going to be more than 1 year. Can IAC inspect, interfere with your study? Yes. Can inspect, you can ask data, can have interim reports, can ask report of side effects, can ask to stop the study. All these are possible. Is IAC responsible for the projects clear? Yes. If you do something and if you didn't catch you, that can make problems for us too. So we will be careful before passing it and the report. There are a number of various guidelines on ethics committee, and we have our own SOP. We have 20 SOPs, standard operating procedures, regarding how to operationalize ethics committee. That includes how to do ethics committee reviews during COVID also. And ICMR has come out now with an SOP, special SOP for COVID scenarios also. So this is a serious business, getting ethics committee clear. So I would suggest, if you have any doubt, any confusion, you can contact us, contact me or any members or IRC members, IRC about. And most of the time I am the technical clearance, during the technical clearance they would suggest also the ethical issues. So make sure that you submit a proper proposal, then ethics committee clearance will be easy and simple. And also when you submit, when you write the summary, write summary in simple language, because the 50% of members are not from institution. 5 of them are non-medical persons. So they should be understanding, they should be able to understand what you are writing, what you are going to do. So that will make your life also simple. This committee clearance will be easier. Okay, that's it.